Hello everyone in cyber world, welcome back to another video. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Richard, and this is our channel we call Poor Man's DIY.
Since our garbage disposal died, we decided that we're going to change out the garbage disposal and put in a new sink and a faucet. So let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, to give you a little background of what's going on, a few days ago, the garbage disposal just died on me. There's a reset button that you can push in underneath, and that often does it. Sometimes the garbage disposal just gets jammed with food particles, and it just requires getting cleared out. But normally what happens is you will hear it still trying to move, and it just doesn't move. And in our particular case, the reset doesn't work. There's no sound whatsoever. This thing is kind of hosed. Might be able to do some repair, but truth be told, this is one of the last things that we wanted to do for renovation of our house. And the whole plan was actually to replace the sink, the countertops, the faucet, and everything else all at once. Unfortunately, we're not prepared to do the counter. It's going to require a custom order on that one. So we're going to replace the garbage disposal, but since we're doing that, we're also going to replace the sink, and I think that's it. So we're going, the first step that we're going to do is we're going to take this all apart, and step one is to make sure you are unplugged. Now let's get on with it. Okay, first step we're going to do is, first step is to turn off the water. Okay. All right, now let's try it again. Let's put the sink to make sure the water is all cleared. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and remove the hose by loosening up the clamp. And, oh, come on. Oh man, this hose is melted on there. We're going to have to figure, well, we'll pull that off. All right, let's go ahead and loosen this as well. Oh, I can tell already this is going to smell wonderful. And there we go. Okay. Fun. Okay. All right, next we're going to go ahead and take this off, but before doing this, I used to have a little jack that I put underneath this here, but you want to put something underneath this because this is actually kind of heavy. As soon as you remove this connection up here, it is going to fall, and like I said, it's quite heavy. It's kind of hard to be able to hold this up and remove it at the same time. So I'm just going to build up a little something so that when it disconnects, it only falls down. Just slide them out. So let's go ahead and put that together first. All right, so this is only a little gap, so if it falls, it's not going to fall too much. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. So now to remove this, you actually have to spin this, and the only way to do that here, well, the best way to do that is put a screwdriver in here. That's kind of what these grips are. There's several of them all the way around. We'll put this in and turn, and it should, there we go. That worked out perfect. All right, now okay, let's get this. Come on, there we go. And now we can remove the disposal. All right, now we're going to go ahead and remove the air gap here, and it clearly isn't on there real tight anyway, but okay, now there you go. And as soon as I let go, this is going to fall through on the bottom. All right. Now technically all of this can be disassembled, but in reality we now have a double-sided sink. We're actually going to go to a single-sided sink with a garbage disposal simply in the middle. So we're only going to have one hose pipe that goes straight into there. So technically all I really need to do is disassemble this and then lift the whole sink out, and we should be good to go. However, this here is going to have a bunch of water and gunk and waste, and it is not going to smell really good. Thank goodness we don't have smell-o-vision, so you guys don't have to deal with it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove this first, or at least try to. There we go. All right, that was easy. And now for the fun part. Okay, hang on, this is not holding. Here we go. Oh, this is so much fun. And we won't look inside there. Okay. All right, now for the sink to be able to come out, the last hose that we need to disconnect is the water. We turned it off before. You're probably still going to have some residue water in there. This is clean water. This is just going from the hot water up to the faucet itself. Wow, that wasn't on very tight. Let's see. Oh, okay, this one's a little bit tighter. This is the cold water. Oh, all right. Okay. And now there is nothing left on this sink that's holding it to the pipes or anything else. So the next step is to actually lift out this whole sink. May the force be with us. All right. On sinks, oftentimes underneath there's a clamp that holds the sink to the counter itself. And this one here, I saw absolutely no clamps whatsoever. So I have a suspicion that the only thing that's holding this sink into place is caulk and maybe some adhesive underneath there. So for the first thing that we got to do here before we can try and remove it is to get off this caulk that's here and see if we can pry it off and just lift out the sink or not. I hope so. If we're lucky, we will. Now we've cut some of this off. It doesn't feel like there's any adhesive underneath there, but it's a solid sink, so I think that's the weight. And let's see if I can push it up. Yep. Oh my God, this sucker's heavy.
After removing the super heavy sink, we measured it and marked what had to be cut out for the new sink to fit. That was a perfect fit.
We now add plumber's putty to the drain that will be attached to the sink. As you tighten the screws, it draws the drain into the sink tighter and tighter and will squeeze out excess putty that will be easily removed.
The sink that we purchased came with 3 holes for a faucet with hot and cold knobs that we will not be using, so we attached a base plate that will cover the spare holes and be used to hold the faucet in place.
Now we feed the faucet hoses through the hole in the sink. There is actually a 4th hole, but that'll be used for the air gap. Here we are securing the faucet to the sink. It's much easier assembling this before dropping the sink into the countertop.
Now we are ready to drop the sink in, and it worked like a charm. From here, we attach all the hoses and the pipes using provided parts that came with the sink. We connected a module that makes our faucet function simply by touching it.
Okay, I'm really geeking out by installing an Amazon Alexa controller that will allow us to give instructions to Alexa. We can tell it to pour a specific amount of water, a cup, a tablespoon, etc. We may have to make another video on setting up and using this feature.
Oh no, the plug will not fit into the socket. Yet another epic fail.
I have a simple solution to the problem, so check this out. Ta-da!
Now we are connecting our new garbage disposal.
The last thing to connect is the air gap.
Now we have to figure out how this thing works.
That's why. This is a sensor. That's why we couldn't get it to work. So whenever we touch it, we know it's on.
Since we are installing a nice new sink, we might as well redo all the surrounding caulking to make it look nice.
As always, we realize that this wasn't a step-by-step detailed instruction on how to do it. Obviously, each sink, each garbage disposal, each faucet is made differently, and so you'll need to follow the instructions that are provided with the parts that you purchase. We just wanted to be able to inspire you, and maybe there's some things that you'll see on how we accomplish something that might help you when you go to install it. Maybe there's a little trick that helped us out that you can't figure out just by the instructions, that this might help you get to the next stage and be able to fully install it. Next week, we are going to be working on a laser project that we were supposed to do this week. It's something that we have made for some friends and family in Japan, and we wanted to make one for ourselves. It's going to be a little bit larger, and so we'll get into that. So until then, bye-bye.